Morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name's Aloof Alpaca, and welcome to Casual Indie Critique. What makes us different from casual cartoon critique, you may ask? Nothing. I just talk about indie games instead of cartoons. And today I'm talking about Pizza Tower. Now, I know I'm a little late to the party considering this game came out all the way back in January 2023, and basically everybody else has talked about Pizza Tower to some extent. But you know what? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I'm talking about it. Pizza Tower is a 2D fast-paced platformer where you play as Peppino Spaghetti, a struggling small business owner who's told by a sentient pizza face that he's gonna blow up Peppino's pizza shop. So Peppino's gotta get to the top of the tower to stop him. But how do you get to the top? You take the elevator, but it's locked. How do you unlock? You need a boss key you get from beating the bosses. But how do you get to the bosses? You collect like Pizza Top. They give you cash to pay Mr. Stick for a boss gate. But how do you get the toppings? You go through the levels strewn about the tower floors, find the toppings and the optional bonus treasure. Find John Pillar, knock him down, then race back to the start of the level using an alternative path because your way in has been blocked off, and get to the exit before time runs out and you get caught by the pizza face. See, speaking of which, I love these little topping guys. They're adorable. Fan Gamer, if you guys are listening, I would totally buy a pin set of these little topping guys. They're too cute and marketable to not be merchandisable. But enough of that. I really like this game. Visually, it's great. It reminds me a lot of 90s Nicktoons. Like, it feels like something you would see in between episodes of Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life. The level design is excellent. The levels are constantly throwing new mechanics at you. You go from sliding around in a suit of armor, to riding a rocket, to rolling in a barrel, to riding a sausage, flying around as a ghost, getting chased by a ghost, rail grinding, playing golf, fire breathing, getting jockeyed by Mort the chicken, escaping killer animatronics, trying to escape a bomb blast with a shotgun and a constantly ticking down timer, or even playing as an alternative character, Gustavo and his pet rat, Rick, just to name a few. The bosses are also really well made as well. Without fail, they'll hand your ass to you multiple times before you get the patterns down. And also the music, it slaps hard. There is not a single bad track in this game. At worst, some forgettable, but never bad. Some of my personal favorites include Bite the Crust, Oregano Mirage, Yeehaw Delivery Cowboy, Good Eatin', and Tubular Trash Zone. And there's just so much more I wish I could say about this game's greatness, but I can't find the words. Seriously, I had the words, but they grew legs and ran away. So go play it if you haven't already. If you haven't already played it, you're missing out, so don't hesitate. Play it today. With that, Rachel, Mandrake, what are your thoughts?
I wish more pizza delivery guys were as fast as Peppino. My delivery pizzas are always cold when they arrive.
Well, maybe you need a new delivery guy.
Oh yeah, from where?
New Guinea.
We're not doing so well, Angel Dust. We need a new approach, a new tactic.
I got it. Let's get naked.
No, let's save that for when we're selling real estate.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name's Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode at Casual Cartoon Critique. And today I'm talking about Hazbin Hotel, created by Vivz Murano originally as a pilot on YouTube back in 2019, and got picked up for a full series on Amazon Prime for an 8-episode season. Hazbin Hotel has gained a lot of attention in the past few years, for better or for worse. If you haven't been on Twitter, well, first of all, stay away from that cesspool. Second, Hazbin Hotel's been getting flack for... I don't really know. Trying to understand the discourse around the show gives me a headache. Anyway, Hazbin Hotel. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I liked the show. Genuinely enjoyed it. It's especially funny with either Husk, my personal favorite character, or Nevi. Her chaotic gremlin energy always gets a laugh out of me.
Sometimes I kill mother bugs in front of their children as a warning to others. Yay, pain!
Don't get me wrong, it has its flaws, but no show's perfect. I'll explain it a bit. So the show continues the setup from the original pilot. After the annual extermination, Princess of Hell, Charlie Morningstar, is determined to prove damned souls can be redeemed. But after an angel was killed in the last extermination, Heaven is waging war on Hell. Who will come out on top? Find out by watching the show yourself. Lazy ass. The show visually has had some slight tweaking during the development, and I like it, but there are a few mistakes in the show's visuals. Most minor, but there are some big ones like characters randomly growing and shrinking, and it's especially noticeable with Charlie and Vaggie. And is it just me, or does Angel Dust look way too tall in this shot? Look, I'm a Steven Universe fan, so I'll let it slide. But then there are these ribs that look so out of place, like they were put in there at last minute. This just genuinely baffles me for a show that's so well animated, especially during the songs. These small mistakes just stand out more as a result. Speaking of which, the music. Apart from the first song in the first episode starting a bit abruptly and jarringly, all the songs are bops. A few of my personal favorites include Out for Love, Stayed Gone, and my top favorite, Loser Baby.
I got an appetite for gambling.
I got an appetite for...
As for pacing, some people have said the show's pace is too fast, and in retrospective, yeah, it does tend to bounce from place to place to place. Hopefully they can slow it down a bit in the next season. In conclusion, I thoroughly enjoyed Hazbin Hotel, and if you haven't seen it for yourself, I'd recommend testing the waters with the first 2 episodes and see how you feel from there. And with that, Rachel, Mandrake, your thoughts?
Well, you know, despite what people say about this show, I do think it's an accurate recreation of hell.
Yeah, why is that?
The show was an eternal punishment to watch.
Anyway, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and thank you for watching.
Who posted my nudes on Twitter.com?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name's Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Game Critique. Today, I'm talking about Penny's Big Breakaway. I love that sound effect. Can we play it again? Just one more time.
Nice.
Developed by Evening Star from the same devs that gave us Sonic Mania, gives us this all-new 3D platformer, and it's really good. You play as Penny, a yo-yo trickster who wants to perform in the annual gala. She gets in there, shows off some of her
Epic yo-yo skills!
and all's going good until Penny's yo-yo goes rogue and gives Eddie the Emperor some new clothes. Now, for her crime of scarring a live studio audience with Eddie's ugliness, she now becomes a wanted criminal. Now on the run, she has to escape Eddie's penguin patrol through a series of perilling platforming predicaments by using the same yo-yo that got her into this mess by spinning, swinging, dashing, rolling, and again,
Epic yo-yo skills!
One thing you might notice early on is the movement. It's a little different than most platformers, in that it's momentum-based, which may come off as odd at first, but once you get used to it, you realize it works really well with the level design, and it makes levels really fun to breeze through with optional collectibles and mini-quests to go along with it. But I didn't do those because some of those mini-quests are really frustrating, and I didn't want to kill myself over trying to 100% this game. Plus, with great visuals and groovy music, the overall presentation is really strong. The only real problem with this game is the bugs, most commonly wall clipping, and for me, the zip lines. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't, and other times they'd eat me out of the level. Look, it's their first 3D platformer, so I'll cut them some slack. Nobody's first of anything is their best. Overall, a really great experience and one of the best games I've played so far this year. I know that's saying a lot because it's only been quarter 1, and a big one at that, and there's more games coming out, but this is a good game. And with that, Rachel, Mandrake, your thoughts?
I had a yo-yo once as a kid. One time I swung it like a flail and I gave myself a black eye.
Sounds like that yo-yo became a no-yo.
With that, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and thank you for watching.
Amazing डिजिटल सर्कस में स्वागत है। मेरा नाम है केन, मैं हूँ आपका रिंग मास्टर और मैं लेकर आया हूँ चमड़ा तोड़ू, दिल जोड़ू और दिमाग मोड़ू चीजें जिन्हें देखकर आपकी आंखें सॉकेट से बाहर आ जाएंगी। सही बोला ना बबल?
बिल्कुल सही उस्ताद, मैं देखने के लिए उछल रही हूँ क्या?
I hate this channel.
No! No!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name's Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Cartoon Critique. Today, I'm talking about
The amazing digital circus!
made by YouTuber Gooseworks, best known before Digital Circus for making Undertale remixes and original animations like Little Runmo and Elaine the Bounty Hunter. If you haven't already heard about the amazing Digital Circus, you're either two things. You either just woke up from a 6-month coma, or you're an old fart that can use a computer about as well as an orangutan can drive. Because this shit has blown up in popularity. The first episode in just 6 months has racked up 300 million views.
Damn!
It took the Hazbin Hotel pilot about 5 years to reach 1/3 of that, and episode 2 has just come out, and it's already got over 70 million. But just why exactly has it blown up in popularity? Well, personally, I think it's a mixture of its fluent animation, great music, quirky characters, colorful world and settings, dark comedic tone, and constant use of sound effects.
Oh, these fellas just don't know when to quit, do they?
It somehow creates something that has broad appeal. The whole concept is a bunch of people get trapped in this digital purgatory led by a theorized to be AI, Kane, who sends these characters on LARPing sessions to keep them from going insane. And that's pretty much the gist of it. The animation is great. It's rare to see 3D animation with this level of polish even in mainstream media. The character movements are so smooth, especially with Kane. It's smooth on the level of the Sony movies like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Hotel Transylvania. Sure, it doesn't have much weight to the movements, but that's my only complaint. Just a bit floaty on some characters. The music is great. Really complements the tone and stuff. Look, I'm no professional. The music's nice. Moving on. Characters, I like them all, but I find it absolutely hilarious how most of the fandom did a full 180 on Jax in episode 2. They really ramped up how much of a jerk he can be.
Alright, Gangle, when we catch up to him, I'll jump over, crawl inside, and shoot him repeatedly until they're unrecognizable.
I feel like that violates some kind of convention.
You're violating my ears with your clapback. Get driving, driver!
And people are complaining that Gooseworks killed his character arc. He's awful now. No, you moron! He was always a jerk to begin with! He always was and always will be a jerk. And if anything, I want to see him worse for it. Just to see people get madder. And just for argument's sake, I made a list of awful things Jax did before episode 2. In the Meet Gangle video, Jax shoves Gangle, breaking her comedy mask. In episode 1, deliberately steps on Gangle's comedy mask, breaking it further. Plants a centipede in Ragatha's room, or maybe not, he just says that to screw with her. Bails on Pomni and Ragatha when they see the Kaufmo abstracted. Shoves Kinger in the gloink hole with a bowling ball, and then he shoves Gangle one more time just to get on the escalator. By the way, hashtag justice for Gangle. She's just the butters of the digital circus universe, getting constantly beat down for no apparent reason. Hashtag justice for Gangle, get that trending. Anyway, apart from wanting to see more character development from Zubul, good character stuff. I love how bright and colorful the world and settings are. It's just really entrancing, and it clashes so well with the dark comedy of the show, which, by the way, funny stuff. This show's got a good mix of slapstick humor with existential horror, with just a touch of emotional attachment so you get attached to these characters. Well, that's the amazing digital circus so far, and I am eagerly anticipating more. And with that, Rachel, Mandrake, thoughts? They're gone. Maybe they got sucked into the circus. And with that, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and thank—
What was that about being sucked into the digital circus?
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Game Critique. And this time, I'm reviewing hashtag Blood.
Because there will be blood.
If Cuphead was a love letter to rubber hose era cartoons of the 1920s and 1930s, Blood is the exact same thing, but for Y2K cartoons. You play as Becky Brewster, no affiliation with the Brewster from Animal Crossing, and her father David, who just moved into a new town, but soon after, strange things start happening and vampires start running amok. This happening, Becky learns she comes from a long lineage of vampire hunters, so she must become the next in the family tree to save her new home. First off, the visuals. Again, visuals are an A+. Blood looks and sounds like a cartoon from the early 2000s on the Cartoon Fridays block. Thick outlines, flat popping colors, solid shapes. It's so rare to play a game that looks like a cartoon. Forget realistic visuals, I want more games that look like cartoons. Just overall fantastic stuff from the visual department. Dialogue is also really funny. While it is semi-serious, it's not afraid to be silly. Characters will still crack jokes even in serious situations, even making jokes referencing other cartoons. But unfortunately, this is where I stop praising the game and get critical about the gameplay. The gameplay is similar to old-school top-down Legend of Zelda's. Links to the Past and Link's Awakening come to mind, with overworld exploration and dungeon crawling, but in a contemporary setting of a small town similar to Earthbound. Brownie points for that. And I do like the bosses. They have a lot of variation, and you never know what the bosses are going to throw at you next. But the main combat, while it works, could use heavy refinement. There has been some improvement, like the dodge roll actually functioning as a dodge, but it still needs work. If you're fighting multiple enemies, you can easily get overwhelmed due to Becky's lack of iframes between hits. I wish there was some kind of AoE attack that pushed enemies back to give you some breathing room. Also, the sub-weapons. The pencils, which you throw, have no crosshair, so aiming is difficult. You just throw in a vague direction and hope you hit your target. It's like trying to play darts blindfolded and in the dark. And then there are the cherry bombs. If you accidentally select them, you can't unselect them, and you end up wasting bombs. And those are just some of the issues I had. Some people have had it way worse with things like side missions, soft locking, and other bugs. I just hate talking about this game's gameplay flaws because clearly they didn't skimp out on the animation of this game. You can see that especially with their archived live streams. #Blood was developed by Exit 73 Studios. Not a game studio, but an animation studio. They've done work for Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, General Mills, and more. I'd list more, but that's all I can remember, and their website is down at the time of recording. So I don't think this game's issues comes from a lack of care, more a lack of experience. Thankfully, the dev team has been actively pushing to polish Blood and work out all of the bugs, so I'm optimistic for Blood's future to be far more refined. And overall, I still love #Blood, even with all the issues. And so, with that, Rachel, Mandrake, what are your takeaways?
With all the vampires and jokes, I'm surprised they didn't make a joke about Twilight.
Why should they? That series of books is in a bit of a joke itself.
With that, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and thank you for watching.
You need to shut the up!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Cartoon Critique. And today, I'm reviewing Primos. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with Primos. Now, you might be asking, as a pasty white guy who has no Latino heritage, do I have a say in this argument? No, but I wanted to throw my hat in the ring. If you were on social media about a year ago when the original theme intro, or theme song, was revealed, you know that this was hit with so much backlash it'd make your head spin. There were so many tweets in Spanish tearing it apart, the biggest issue being the Oya Primos repeated throughout the intro. The correct wording is Oigan Primos, because Oya is singular while Oigan refers to many. Though given the context after watching the show, Turder's Spanish isn't good, hence the mispronunciation, but still, it should be Oigan, as this might be how kids who don't know Mexican culture be their first exposure, I guess. There were other problems, like the naming of places and people, like the city they live in being called Terremoto Heights, which roughly translates to Earthquake Heights, insert cricket noises. I think that was supposed to be an inside joke because the show is set in LA, not in Mexico, and LA has constant earthquakes, including one that was so violent that spawned a volcano, Mount Wilshire, in 1997. But Mexico has had a bad history of violent earthquakes, so yeah, you can see why that seemed distasteful. Then there was that one character who was named after a lady's Taco Bell.
Another roll call again! Cousin Bud, Nacho, Anita, Ted and Tabby, Antonita, Scooter, Lala, and Gordita, Nachita, Chacha, and Coquita!
Yeah, Coquita by textbook definition means small and / or cute, but has been used in several Spanish-speaking territories as a slur for women's private parts. Yeah. Well, at least with those last two, the names were changed. As for the Oya, we're stuck with that, even though it's so easy to fix. I've seen other YouTubers do it.
Quit stalling and review the cartoon itself.
Okay, I admit, I was stalling, but that's only because I don't have much to say about the cartoon itself. The story feels like a mix of concepts already done better elsewhere, but my problem isn't that the ideas are unoriginal. This show is based on the creator's real life. It's that it's not creative with its ideas it uses, and when they do, it feels squandered. Like how the main character, Turder Ramirez, squanders her summer trying to figure out what makes her a special little snowflake. Like a cutie mark crusader. When in reality, none of this BS is gonna happen. Turder, you're gonna end up like the rest of us, getting a dead-end job you hate, doing it for 60 years, and then you die alone. Where was I? Oh yeah, Primos. The pacing is atrociously fast. Not that I have a problem with fast-paced cartoons, but Primos is way too fast.
Two speeds. Fast and way too fast.
Primos' pacing gives little time for breathing room, which doesn't help for the characters. Speaking of which, the characters. For most episodes, the show tries to focus on all the Primos at once. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, the show tries to shoehorn in as many characters as possible in its 10-minute per episode run, making the show feel unfocused and stretches character development among each Primo thin.
How thin?
Thinner than Gordita's waistline, that's how thin. Look, I don't know what else to say. I didn't enjoy Primos, it ain't worth your time. If you want a good Disney cartoon, rewatch DuckTales 2017, Amphibia, The Owl House.
Loose, I'm free.
Or if you want a comedy with more substance, watch KIF. Seriously, I have not seen anybody talk about KIF since that one time Owl House fans were taking out their show's cancellation frustration out on KIF. With that, Rachel, Mandrake, thoughts?
Nope. I'm out.
Same. I wouldn't touch that show with a 39.5-foot churro.
Con eso soy simplemente alpaca y gracias por mirar. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Game Critique. And today, I'm reviewing Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. If you've been a Nintendo fan for any amount of time, you've heard of Nintendo World Championships. If you know what they are, you know. And if you don't know, I'm gonna say what my dad said when I was younger and I didn't know something. If you want to know something, find it out yourself. And earlier this year, there was Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. And that's the game. Nah, for real. Nintendo World Championships is a game about micro speedrunning over 115 levels over 13 classic NES games. And after Neon White, expect a review on that soon, I've been itching for another game that scratches that itch of micro speedrunning. And this game, it scratches. It's not for everyone, and I feel like it could have done with a few more games like Donkey Kong Jr., Urban Champion, Star Tropics, and Punch-Out, for example. But I enjoyed it. There's something satisfying about shooting for an S rank. There's also competing against other players' ghost data, which is pretty much what you expect. A couple of issues are the fact that the original NES World Championship challenge isn't here, and the coin system. Let me explain. You win coins by beating stages. Higher the rank, higher the payout. You use those coins to unlock new stages, which is a bit odd to me. Could have new stages been unlocked by beating stages with a high enough rank? That way you can save up for the custom icons, which are an option, but for me that's a bit of a pet peeve. I personally would have liked to save up the coins just so I could unlock all that extra crap. You're right, Spotty, this review is a little short, so let me give a brief review on the Deluxe Edition. It comes with all the junk you see here. From worst to best, the collectible cards, they're what you'd expect, just collectible cards the size of big postcards. Kind of the weakest link in the trio. The Nintendo World Championship trophy is a Recreation NES cartridge that's meant for display only, it doesn't work with an NES. But a nice little knick-knack. The pin set is probably the nicest piece in the collection. It's a high quality set of display pins, so nice I don't even want to take them out of the box, and that's coming from a guy that's trying to build up a pin board. At the end of the day, I can understand why someone wouldn't be into this game. Nintendo World Championship NES Edition is a bit of a niche. It's mostly for the die-hard Nintendo fan like myself. But I had fun, and again, it scratched that itch for a micro speedrunning game. And with that, Rachel, Mandrake, your takeaways?
Beating games fast are the only thing that speedrunners can do fast.
That and sex.
Oh please, as if speedrunners even have sex.
With that, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and thank you for watching.
Hello!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Cartoon Critique. And today, I'm reviewing The Wild Robot.
I do not have the programming to be a mother.
DreamWorks is a studio that, if you ask me, and many others, is a very inconsistent studio. On one hand, they've made some genuine, undoubtable masterpieces that'll stand the test of time. But on the other hand, they've made some truly bad movies that deserve to be put in the stocks and ruthlessly mocked. And 2024 has been no exception to this. With a Kung Fu Panda sexual... That's a typo! Shit! With a Kung Fu Panda sequel that's basically DreamWorks' Toy Story 4, and a straight-to-streaming Megamind sequel that was so bad, a particular YouTuber that personifies themselves as a purple crab.
So here's this giant enemy crab
from a specific Disney movie have a mental breakdown. So it seemed that DreamWorks was putting all their effort in The Wild Robot, and it showed. The first trailer, it got me hyped. And then the second trailer dropped, and it dropped the ball that the animals talk. Talk about a bait and switch. But even then, with all the positivity I was hearing after the second trailer, my doubt had turned to cautious optimism. So I went to a theater, put my ass in a seat, and I saw The Wild Robot. And what do I think? This movie's great. Easily the best DreamWorks film since Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It follows the plotline of the books it adapted, or at least I'm sure it is. I haven't read the books, but after this movie I want to. About a service robot stranded on an island full of wildlife and learns to adapt. Think of it a little like The Iron Giant meets Castaway. And of course, the challenge of raising a child as if it were your own. Story is really good. I like the whole dynamic of Roz, Fink, and Brightbill being this small, oddball family of outcasts by the rest of the animal community and for most of the runtime. And the whole dynamic of Roz as she develops feelings and a personality and learns to love not only Brightbill but all the animals that pushed her away and called her a monster. And I would be lying if I didn't say I got a little teary-eyed over the story. Visuals are great, clearly taking direction from Puss in Boots. Makes sense, came in part from the same makers. Score is good, pacing is good, presentation is high, and overall, if I had to give it an arbitrary review score, I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. So go see The Wild Robot if you haven't. And with that, Rachel, Mandrake, your thoughts?
If a robot was wild, would that make it a rogue?
Rogue, but that robot wasn't red, it was white.
With that, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and thank you for watching. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Game Critique.
What the f*** are you wearing?
It's my Halloween costume. I'm the Cult of the Lamb OC, the False Prophet.
You're dressed as an OC while you yourself are an OC? God, you are cringe.
You say that as an insult, I take that as a compliment. But anyways, since it's the spooky month of October, I figured it'd be fitting to do some spooky month themed videos. And why not talk about Nintendo's favorite not so spooky horror franchise, Luigi's Mansion. No, the one on Switch. No, the first sequel. No, the first sequel ported onto the Switch. Thank you. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD came out earlier this year in June, which is weird. That's like if Disney made a movie adaptation of Haunted Mansion amusement park ride and released it in theaters in July. But with 2024's already packed schedule, I can see why Luigi's Mansion 2 came out in the summer. When it comes to Luigi's Mansion 2, the fandom is split, die-hard split. Fans either like or don't like this game. I am one of the former. I'm probably the biggest defender of Luigi's Mansion 2, both figuratively and literally. It was the one that got me into Luigi's Mansion, and it made a first good impression. It's more the same Luigi's Mansion gameplay with some differences that and all don't bother me at its core. It's still the same gameplay. You flash ghosts with your strobobulb, which I do prefer over blinking the flashlight in the first game. Then, while they're stunned like a deer in headlights, you suck them off, up into your Ghostbusters vacuum. Mostly the same gameplay with a few new twists and turns, like exploring multiple mansions instead of one large one. I like the gem collecting. I know a lot of people don't like the linear mission-based structure of this game, and I can see why. If you're new to Luigi's Mansion 2 and you're trying to 100% this game, replaying some of these one-off sections can be tedious, but personally it didn't bug me most of the time. The boss ghosts lacking in visual personality, I also understand the complaint there, but I think the creative boss battles make up for that. And of course I love the soundtrack, largest of the three. So yeah, I think Luigi's Mansion 2 is a really good game. If you played the OG on 3DS, you're not missing much, but if you're new, I can't defend that price, man. Luigi's Mansion 2 was $40 when it first hit the 3DS, and later down the line it became a Nintendo Select for $20. So if you haven't gotten on Switch, I'd say wait for a $20 off sale, or buy it with a game voucher. And with that, Rachel, Mandrake, what are your takeaways?
I'd sooner drink a spirit than confront one.
Well, either way, you're gonna need some salt.
And with that, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and thank you for watching. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Cartoon Critique. And happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you're having fun, whether it be partying, horror house touring,
No, probably.
ghost hunting.
Whoa, 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 whoa! What is this? What is this? There's a wetness coming from my pants!
Watching The Nightmare Before Christmas for the 1000th time.
Dutch oven.
Or even trick-or-treating.
I got it raw.
Which leads us to this Halloween edition review of the short Missing Halloween by Mike and Elle. A short story of these two trick-or-treating buddies. They have no names, so I'll refer to them as Peanut and Butter. Please laugh. So Peanut and Butter decide to be trick-or-treating buddies after the year prior, where Peanut probably had the worst Halloween ever. Beaten up, candy stolen, and accidentally locked out of his house by his parents, who were gone for the evening. This all accumulates in him meeting Butter, who apparently hasn't been having the best time trick-or-treating either. Sharing Peanut's last 2 pieces of candy leads to where we are now, and off Peanut and Butter go to trick-or-treat. And every house they go to seemingly ignores Butter. How sexist, am I right, ladies? Anyways, Peanut and Butter get back to Peanut's house, and Peanut's parents believe Butter is just an imaginary friend. So Butter is determined to prove she is real, so she guides Peanut through the dangerous woods, full of bear traps. But Peanut catches up with and finds Butter, and eventually, with a search squad, Peanut's parents find Peanut, and what's left of Butter. Turns out she was a missing child that died years ago. And that's the end. A real bittersweet 10-minute short in it. But I do like it even if it's rather sad. Like Marge with the potatoes. I just think it's neat. The short as a whole, not the whole dead kids thing. I really don't know what else to say. It's a 10-minute long short. Now I'm just padding out for time. So, yeah, watch it if you want. Why am I even going on at this point? Okay, I'm padding out now. Rachel, Mandrake, give me your takeaways.
Why do they call it trick-or-treating? I've never seen any tricks.
That's because the trick is wasting your money buying treats for those rotten kids.
Anyways, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and have a happy Halloween.
Let's do it,
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Game Critique. And today, I'm reviewing Neon White. Developed by Ben Esposito, who developed Donut County before this, gives us Neon White. The story goes that White, voiced by the titular Tom from Toonami himself, Steve Blum...
Why do they need assassins in heaven? To do someone's dirty work.
...and his partners in crime, along with other souls in purgatory, are sent up to heaven once a year to deal with the infestation of demons, and the one who slays the best gets to stay in heaven. And that's as far as I can say without spoilers. No, play the game yourself. But anyways, the gameplay at first looks like an FPS, but plays more like a speedrunning puzzle platformer with shooting mechanics. You gotta get to the end of each level as fast as possible and kill all the demons in sight with your various gun cards. And you can also discard said cards for platforming. For example, the pistol grants you a double jump and the Uzi an AoE stomp. The gameplay is surprisingly addicting. The extremely short levels make replay value for the best times shockingly addicting, and the awesome soundtrack by Machine Girl adds to the whole experience.
But wait! There's more!
That's only half of the game. The other side of the coin is the visual novel part of this game.
Me too. You're so lucky you don't have big boobs, White. They get it the worst.
And this is the decisive side of the game.
Hey, White! Isn't it freaking crazy that John Cena is here in heaven giving us missions? Exit everybody out!
People who play this game say they either like or don't like the dialogue, mostly because it gives off wannabe vibes, shown by the definition on screen. But I'll be damned, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I like the dialogue. It comes off as a guilty pleasure B-list anime full of cliches and tropes. So cheesy and corny, like a big plate of nachos. Overall, I love Neon White. It's a near-perfect game, and I highly recommend it. And with that, Rachel, Mandrake, your takeaways?
How lazy to have to be to get rid of your own demon infestation?
The type of lazy to drive to a fast food joint within walking distance from your house.
With that, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and thank you for watching.
I want to be a wrestler!
No!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Cartoon Critique. And today, I'm reviewing Invincible Fight Girl.
It's showtime.
Now, before we get into this review, I got two things I want to say. Number one, I'm shocked this show even came out, because if you've been out of the loop for the past year or so, the state of major corporation animation has been abysmal, to say the least. Lots of animated shows getting the boot, so this show slipping through the cracks of the storm is impressive in its own right. Second, I've only seen the first 3 or 4 episodes, so this isn't a full review, more so first impressions. So, Invincible Fight Girl. It's pretty good. Feels like a mixture of 90s anime and early 2010s Cartoon Network original, Mucha Lucha, OKKO, Let's Be Heroes, and My Hero Academia, but in a good way.
You didn't even watch half of those shows.
Anyway, in the world of Invincible Fight Girl, IFG, you're either two things, a wrestler or a bean counter for said wrestlers. And that's literally no exaggeration, they established that episode 1. And our protagonist, Andy, is from a family of accountants, but dreams of being a wrestler. It's sort of the kind of an underdog story. The world is one big fist, literally and figuratively, and Andy is the world's punching bag. She's got big dreams and it makes her a big target. But I do like Andy as a protagonist. She's got that no-quitter attitude, always getting back up like Spider-Man, and she stands up for others. She has the ambition of a creative mind, but not the inhibition. I'll give her credit for that. Plus brownie points for the writers making her parents supportive of her dream, even if it's not in accounting. Moving on, the humor is mostly good with a lot of jokes that land on the nose, but the few that don't feel just a bit too drawn out and immature. But again, humor is subjective, so take what I say with a grain of salt.
I'd say put that grain of salt on your food, but that would ruin the taste.
Moving on. I like the visuals. The show looks like Ben 10 Alien Force through an anime filter, and I love the diverse designs in the main and background characters. Everywhere you look, there are tons of distinct designs. There are humans, anthro-animals, anthro-bug people, plant people, crab people, aliens.
Holy crap!
So in the end, I'm like an IFG, and you should watch it too. Because a show this good doesn't make it past their first or second season, so do watch it if this crappy little review convinced you. So with that, what's the takeaway with you guys?
Well, I do say I prefer this show over real wrestling.
Me too, at least with this cartoon when you know the wrestling is fake.
So with that, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and since it's close to Thanksgiving at the time of making this, have a good turkey day.
Kick out the jams, beaver squeezers, and say hello to the new Ms. PC Beach.
Damn!
Damn!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Game Critique. And today, I'm reviewing Antonblast.
Antonblast!
From Summit Sphere.
Summit!
You got a new Wario Land-like Pizza Tower, but while Pizza Tower is more a mixed breed ode to 90s platformers with Wario Land as the base foundation, Antonblast is a more purebred Wario Land mixed with Crash Bandicoot, because you can't have a purebred, because that's what leads to inbred. Looking at you, mighty number 9 in ukulele. Anyways, Antonblast was my most anticipated game of 2024, and did it live up to it?
I'm gonna find out who did this and blast him into teeny, tiny little pieces! Hell yeah, brother!
This game is phenomenal. The story is that the devil, who's hilarious by the way, he's basically the red guy from Cow and Chicken with a bit of Dr. Robotnik from 1993's The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog mixed in. He's jealous that Anton is redder than him, so he sends his moles to steal Anton's spirit collection. And now Anton's on a suicide mission to get them back and make the devil pay. The gameplay is an excellent mixture of Wario Land and Crash Bandicoot, running around, using unique abilities in each level, smashing anything and everything, fighting hidden collectibles, racing back to the start. Great boss battles, the constant running gag of Danton getting injured. This game is just pure fun. I was anything but bored playing this game. The soundtrack is fantastic, not a single bad track. Concrete Jungle was my personal favorite, by the way. Visuals are great, it's pixels, but a very distinct art style shines through. It's not a very long game. An average non-completionist run is about 5 to 6.5 hours, if you're stupid like me. But that works in the game's favor. Quality over quantity. In a time when AAA games are so bloated, long, and drawn out, I'd rather have a game that leaves me hungry for more than one that leaves me overstuffed from too much filler. So yeah, this is probably going to be my game of the year. It's going to be tough competition. Looking at you, Arzette, and on your tail. So please, go play it. So with that, Mandrake, Rachel, takeaways?
I think an explosive game is a good way of wrapping up the year.
I don't. That'd be blowing it out of proportion.
With that being said, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and thank you for watching.
You owe me for those pens. Come on!
Grab my tail!
Quit wagging it! Whoa!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Cartoon Critique. And Merry Christmas, everyone. Today, I'm talking about Christmas specials. Not movies, TV specials. We all know the icons, the Peanuts, Grinch, Rudolph, Frosty. Hell, Grandma Got Railed by a Reindeer gained some relevance this year. But today, I'm talking about one any kid growing up between the late 90s and the early 2010s remember airing on Cartoon Network every year. That being Olive the Other Reindeer. So, this is a TV special adapted from a book with the same title. Not the craziest thing, sure, but how about the fact that this was spearheaded by the Simpsons man himself, Matt Groening, and this Waluigi-looking-ass postman is voiced by Homer Simpson himself, Dan Costello.
Christmas, bah, bug and hum.
Hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. While the book cuts to the point, the TV special is sort of a backstory of Olive getting to the North Pole. What drives her is this combination of her owner, Tim, aka John Arbuckle with no personality, and his dog racism.
Yeah, we'll get with the program, Olive, and start acting like a dog.
And her idiot pet Flea.
Did Santa just say Olive, the other reindeer?
He said maybe we'll make do with all of the other reindeer, you silly flea.
No, he said Olive, the other reindeer. I heard him.
But she's not alone on this trek to the north. Tagging along with her is the missing fifth penguin of Madagascar, Martini, voiced by Joe Pantoliano.
First of all, they're real Rolexes. Second, I was giving them as a Christmas gift to my dear old friend Olive.
He was in The Matrix. Anyways, okay, at this point in the review, I've run out of things to write for the script. The special's not bad, but I just don't know how to explain it. But I'll try. Olive and Martini get to the North Pole. Olive gets kidnapped, saved by a literal Deus Ex Machina.
Have you ever heard of Deus Ex Machina?
Denise who?
Escapes, gets sexually harassed by Reindeer. Olive uses her maxed out charisma to save herself. Makes it to Santa's workshop. Uses her maxed out charisma to fly with Reindeer. Mailman Waluigi still tries to ruin Christmas. Fails. Stupidly. Olive saves Christmas. She reunites with Tim. Martini becomes a postman. He meets back up with Olive at her doghouse, where she offers Martini to come in and put some quote-unquote coal in her stocking.
And that's the show!
So yeah, I know I'm sounding pretty stout and short and mixed and all this other crap. I just don't know how to explain this special myself. You just gotta watch it for yourself. I do like it. It's charming, simple, and I like the unique 2D, 3D mix of CGI, done by DNA Pictures before they made Jimmy Neutron. And Olive is a hard main protagonist to hate. She really carries the special as a whole. Like I said, if she was a Fallout character, she spent all her skill points on charisma. Olive the Other Reindeer is a perfectly okay little Christmas special. It's free on YouTube, by the way. And with that, what do you two have to say to close out the year?
A dog who thinks she's a reindeer makes about as much sense as flying cars.
But cars do fly. For a bit. When you run them off a cliff.
With that, I'm Aloof Alpaca, and before I go, I just want to say thank you for a full year on YouTube. It's been hard, but great work keeping up the uploads through 2024, and I hope for a bigger and better 2025. So with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and see you next year.
You think I know every human being with a mustache wearing an identical outfit with a hat with the letter of his first name on it? Because I don't.
Well, this is a little ambitious considering this is my first episode of Casual Cartoon Critique. But you know what? This is my YouTube channel, and to quote Eric Cartman,
I do what I want.
And I should warn there will be some spoilers sprinkled throughout the critique, so I do recommend checking out the movie before continuing with this video. So without further ado, I just saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie in theaters, and right away this movie automatically gets brownie points for making me go see a movie in a theater. Something I haven't done in years, and for good reason. I went to go see the movie, and a few seats away from me in the same row, some kid kept running his mouth throughout the movie, and words could not describe how hard it was for me to not say to him to shut the fuck up! But enough about me, on to the Mario movie. First, there's two things I want to bring up before talking about the movie itself. First, the visuals. Illumination movies have always had CGI that, while not bad looking, has never really tried looking better than good enough. But with the Mario movie, the visuals are fantastic, and it's easily Illumination's best looking film yet. And second, the voice actors. I won't talk about this for long because everybody else has badgered this point into the ground. Apart from Chris Pratt being kind of a sore thumb in the voice cast, everybody else does a great job playing their roles. Michael Keegan-Kay as Toad, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and in case you're wondering, yes, he does do this laugh as DK. And Charlie Day as Luigi and Jack Black as Bowser especially shine, and overall the voices are very fitting for each character. I know some people are still butthurt about Chris Pratt being cast as Mario, but I just decided to go with it a while ago, because getting a massive Hollywood movie studio to make drastic changes to a movie that's near completion by screaming at them hard enough on the internet is really a lightning in a bottle situation. And I think that lightning was already captured when everyone on the internet expressed their disgust for Sonic the Hedgehog's original design in that first movie trailer, for his own movie. Okay, enough complaining about voice acting, on to the movie. The best way I can describe the plot of the Super Mario Bros. Movie without spoiling all of it is describing it as a combination of the stories of both the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and the game Super Mario Odyssey. I'll let you put the rest of the pieces of that puzzle in for yourself. The humor in the movie is actually pretty good. Not all the jokes are going to land. I especially remember one with Bowser playing on the piano made me feel embarrassed, and a few one-liners that got used twice too many. But a good majority of the jokes were really funny, and I was laughing pretty hard at several gags, including one that references a joke in Mario and Luigi Dream Team. And the best part is, I counted one fart joke. The music itself is also really nice. Apart from a few licensed songs, which were fine, the entire soundtrack is remixes from games from the Mario universe, plus the DK rap, which was in the movie, so that was a nice surprise. The pacing moves along nicely. It takes a few twists and turns that weren't shown in the trailers, and apart from a few speed bumps here and there, like where it feels like there was supposed to be character development, but it kind of gets cuts off abruptly, but thankfully no major deal breakers. And finally, the references. I could easily go on for another 10 minutes talking about every single reference and Easter egg that wasn't shown in the trailers, but I won't bore you with that. Instead, I'll go over some of the highlights that stood out to me. This is also where most of the spoilers come in, so if you don't want to hear this, fast forward to the time on screen. 3, 2, 1. So the references I highlighted. Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach appear in the movie as their baby forms and flashbacks. At the start of the movie, multiple games from the NES era, including Star Fox, get referenced. The enemy Bonsai Bill plays a huge role in the movie. The infamous eel from Super Mario 64 makes an appearance in the movie. King Boo and Bob-omb make cameos. And there was a sign on a shop in Brooklyn that references the Famicom Disk System. And overall, the movie is really good. I'm not gonna say it's a grandiose masterpiece that will break the mold of cinema, but it's a fun movie for Mario fans of all types.
Young, old, casual gamers, really casual gamers.
So I do heavily recommend checking it out if you haven't already seen it. And with my closing statement, Rachel, Mandrake, what are your thoughts?
I haven't seen the movie yet, but the only thing I do know about it is the discourse around Mario's ass not being as thick in the movie as it is in the video games.
Well, as my great Irish grandfather said, better to have a flat bottom than a flat beer.
Boo!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. My name is Aloof Alpaca, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Cartoon Critique. And today, I'm talking about There She Is, a 5-part short series created by 3 plonkers under the name Sam Boxa. There She Is a flash cartoon telling a forbidden love story, and it's one of my favorite internet cartoons. I don't know how to pad this out any further, so let's get right into the juice. Part 1, we meet our 2 protagonists, Doki, a cat, with his $5 Stewie Griffin-ass haircut, and Nabi, a rabbit. Nabi sees Doki and is love-struck. But here's the catch. Interspecies relationships where they live is a big no-no, which is actually an allegory for relationships between Koreans and Japanese being forbidden. But that doesn't stop Nabi from pursuing her dream man. And no matter how many Looney Tunes hijinks Doki puts her through, eventually Doki concedes and gives Nabi a chance, because this wouldn't be a 5-part series if he did. Part 2, the cake delivery episode. This one's pretty on point. It's Nabi's birthday and Doki's bringing her a carrot cake. and the world is literally trying everything to stop him. It's the most least interesting part in the story for me, but it still has its moments like these thug bunnies, and my favorite part, while Nabi and party guests are waiting for Doki, someone comes out with another cake, but simply because it's not Doki with his cake, Nabi proceeds to pinch out the candle and stuff and swallow the whole cake in just a few bites. What the heck, Nabi? Was your mother a hamster? Did your father smelt of elderberries? Anyway, cute segment, but to me it feels like filler. Feel free to explain why my opinion is wrong in the comments section. Anyway, moving on. Part 3, Doki and Nabi's first real date. This is where things start to get good. Right off the bat, my favorite joke is at the start where Doki dodges Nabi's love hearts like they're bullets in the Matrix. But that's not all I like about this part. This one's a crucial development segment where Doki discovers his same feelings for Nabi, and we see Nabi as an animal lover with the animals she tags with green bows that first appear in part 2. It's all really cute and wholesome. But then we get to part 4.
And everything got intense.
This is where the ugly head of Doki and Nabi's relationship rears itself, as we see the increasing division between hardcore traditionalists who are against the interspecies relationships, and the growing resistance. As a result, Nabi gets caught by the antis and gets hospitalized. Doki, seeing this, completely breaks him. As a result, he breaks up with Nabi and sides with the antis, and it hurts on multiple levels because you hate it because he breaks Nabi's heart, but you understand why he does because he doesn't want to see Nabi trampled to death like her poor late hedgehog. It's just so much pain.
So much pain.
But then we get to part 5. This is my favorite part for a multitude of reasons. So many that it makes it all so hard to describe, but I'll try anyway. The start with Doki saving the baby chicken, and then seeing the tree with the green sashes that were once bows of the animals that Nabi loved. Something starts to click, and then it all hits Doki. He rushes to Nabi's apartment only to realize she's heading for the airport, and this massive chase to stop her before she gets to the plane with multiple characters reappearing to aid Doki. He gets to the airport just in time, embraces Nabi, whisks her off her feet, dancing through the danger out of the airport, running back home together, and it all ends with an ending that doesn't say, and they all lived happily ever after. More saying, things are rough right now, but the future does look bright. End scene. And that was There She Is. I could go on for a while about why I love this series of shorts, but I'll keep it brief. I love the story, the two lead characters' dynamic, the simple but distinctive visuals, the music. Oh god, the music is so good. Unfortunately, I can't play any of it because I think it's licensed music and I don't want to risk a copyright strike. And the best part about There She Is the almost entire story being told with no dialogue. Purely through visuals, you know what's going on, and that's what makes animation so great. The character actions speak louder than words. So if you haven't watched There She Is yet, do it. It's fantastic. And sorry for not uploading in months. I'm going to start buckling down and making more videos. Next one's going to come out close to Halloween, and it's on an indie game, not the one you're probably thinking of. Rachel, Mandrake, take it away.
The fact that you pointed it out makes me think, why do none of the characters talk?
Well, you know what they say, silence is worth 1,000 words.
Well, if that's the case, you should say that to my chatterbox stepmother.
Anyway, I gotta go play Super Mario Bros. Wonder now. Peace out!